Hi guys, today I want to look at making what I call a hinged tag. So I've got a piece of A4 cardstock and I'm going to make 4 tags the same size because we want to actually insert the hinge in between the 2 layers. So I haven't done it before. I've seen photos in Pinterest, so I'm going to have a go with you guys today. So I'm just going to get my guillotine here. Actually, I might get my paper trimmer. It's better to work with when you're working with an A4 piece of paper. Just pull it down. So we'll cut it to an A5 to start with. Just so we can get our measurements. I might leave it at might go 5.5 tall. Just going to grab a journal beside me and see. Yep, that's fine. So 5.5 by 3.25, I think we will go. 5.5 by 3.25, so that's going to be the size of your tag. And I want to grab 2 more of those. You can make these any size you want. So what I've done there, I've cut a piece the same width as the tags. As you can see, same width as the tags, because I'm gonna make a tag top template. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you would have seen me do this before, but it's just a great way to get them even on each side. So I've just folded in half, and then I'm just going to cut the edge off. And you'll end up with your tag that'll have even sides each side. And then all you've got to do, I'll do 2 at a time, because we need them to be the same size, because we're going to be gluing them together. So we want everything matching up. That's the first 2. And then that's the second 2. So keep them in their pairs if you can. So we're going to be gluing this piece on top of that piece, but before we do that, we want to put some tabs in there, so it will then become, you'll be able to fold it over like that. I'm just turning them upside down because it's got a bit of a rough edge, and that's just my trimmer. I'll put them on the inside. Then grab some, I'm going to use some seam binding because it's really quite strong. You can use some sari silk. You can, if you don't have any material, then you can just cut with strips of cardstock and just sort of make the center. So you'd fold it like this, for example. You'd cut it into a strip similar to your ribbon, and then you'd glue it in there. But we're going to use this seam binding today. So I'm going to glue them down here first of all. So it's important to get the distance here the same. So what I might do is tape these down so they don't move out of place. I'm just going to use masking tape to do that, and you just have to do it on one side just so they don't move. You could use washi tape, just something to get it down. I'm going to go a bit closer. Like I said, it's the first time I'm making these, guys, so realistically I'm not sure about the width there. Think about it when you close, how much you want popping out. So we don't really want too much at all. So stick that down there. Just make sure I've got it as even as can be without measuring. And then I'm just going to get some strips and I'm going to glue down, I think we'll do 3. So we'll do 1 in the middle, 1 up the top and 1 down the bottom. And then we're just going to glue them down. So you can see how that's going to become like a soft hinge. I might even move that a bit closer, to be quite honest. Lovely. So I'm actually going to use fabric glue. I've got mine stored upside down to make it easier so I don't have to shake rigorously. And then I'm just putting roughly where I want my seam binding to go. Glue it down. Now the next thing, we're going to glue our tags on there, which theoretically I possibly should have inked the edges beforehand, but when you think of it, we're putting something down here, so we're going to be able to ink this top edge that we're putting there like that, so we've still got time to ink. So if you do like distressing and inking things, always try and think about the stages. It's the last stage or the last layer that you need to ink. So that one's going there. You can also use pre-bought tags if you want. You may, if they've got a whole reinforcement on there, you may need to peel it off this side. Sorry, and then that's going to stick down there. So we might do that. I'm going to use the art glitter glue. I nearly forgot the name of it then. So I've always refer to the label because I use quite a few varieties of glue. This one is one of my favorites. So line your edges up. You know, there may be some differences depending on if you've kept them up the right way or not. You can always trim it off, but try, see there's a little bit of an edge there. Try and get it as best as possible because I think I turned it over, so I'll get a little, I'll do a notch off the top and a notch off the side there. And then the same with this one, glue it down. Line it up down the bottom. Probably should have taken my masking tape off before I glued, but we're just going to pull it out there. Worst case, if the glue had dried, you can always cut it. You'd never see it again anyway. So there we've got our hinged tag. I'm going to decorate it a bit now too, just to finish it off. By inking this last bit last, because I've used the cream seam binding, it's taking the ink really well, so it's blending it all in together nicely. So might do some stamping on there first. I've got this marble stamp on my desk that I used in a previous video and project, so I'm going to just do some stamping on that, just to give it a little bit of texture in the background. Gives it texture, but it doesn't add any width, which is great because, you know, our journals can get quite bulky. In the middle, I want to leave as journaling space. That's the idea around these. So they present as a tag, but they're also like a little booklet. You can open them up and journal in them. So it creates that beautiful interactive journaling. Now to decide, are we going to stamp on here? Are we going to put a pocket on the front? I'm just looking at some of my digitals that I have printed to use. I do like that one. And then you can put another little tag in there as well. Just looking off to the side to see if I've got any smallish tags. Let me have a look. Might have some in mine. I've got some smallish stuff in here. What color do I want? You know, if I created that, turned that into a pocket, then I can put a tag inside there. So do I want that color though? I love the blue, but I also want it to double up as a journaling spot. So I'm going to go with this beautiful, it's like an oxide yellow. It's a handmade paper cardstock too. Absolutely beautiful. And it also adds a little bit of color as you're going through, flipping through your journal. Just a hint of ink on it, not too much. I'm really not going to, you could stamp something on there, for example. I'm really not going to do too much to it. I've just got this little butterfly on my desk that I've put some glossy accents on. No, you could put a, let's see, I've got some stuff left over from a previous, you know, just depends on how much you've got poking out as to, you know, what you want to add up here, if you want to add anything there. Maybe that one, fairly plain and simple. So I'll put it on the front of that tag. You could stamp a number there. You could put anything you want there, really. I'm just going to ink around this pocket and glue it down. So this is a digital download. As I was saying before, once you purchase them, you can print them as many times as you like. And I'm going to darken that edge up just to give it a bit of a frame, because it's going on a similar color background and I want it to stand out a bit. So you can see the difference. Now I'm going to glue that down. So once again, rule of thumb, put your thumb on the edge or the side that you're not going to glue. I'm just going to add just some little bits more of the marbling just around the edge there. So being careful not to go too much over onto my image. All right, glue my label down. If you don't have any tags pre-cut, same method as we did with this one, is just make yourself a little bit of a tag top template. And once you've got it, so that's mine there for the background one, put tag top template. So even if it's a different width, let's say this coin envelope, so you can see it's wider, you just push it over to the side here, cut it, and then you push it over to the side there and cut it, and you'll get the even side either way. So it's great to, any templates you make like that, keep them. They just will make your life a lot easier. Now I do want to put something down the bottom here. I want to add some color in the form of maybe a label of sorts. Push that up there and have a number down there perhaps. see if I've got a number. I've got a fair pile happening beside me at the moment, so I'm mindful that one false move, it could all come crashing down. I've got a bit of a spillage in here because I picked it up the wrong way around, but never mind, easy to pop them back in there. Now I'm just looking for a colour or a number or a letter that I've got. Maybe that might look good. That will do us. I'm just going to ink around those. They don't need much ink. I don't know whether you can see, but there's a really fine white line where I've cut as close as I could, but you still get a bit of white. By inking it, you can see it totally gets rid of it. I haven't inked the front, I've just inked the edge, and it'll just get rid of any stark white edges that you have. This one I'm inking more. Try not to cover up that beautiful cherub there. And then on the back, you can either leave like that. Might put a little pocket down there, and we'll be able to slip another tag in there, and then that way you'll get the option whether you want to or not. You know, it'll come down to how much bulk do you want to put in your journal, and you won't really know that until you've got your journal finished. So if you've got some extra pockets, then you can always add some stuff. Just put that chocolates label on the back. Now I am going to cut this one a bit closer because it's got a fair white border around it. And then we're going to ink it go a bit darker just to give it some definition like we were saying before. You could even, if you want to define it more as a pocket, you could get a circle punch and just take a slight notch out of it like that. And that does help get stuff in and out, but you can see how it defines it more as a pocket. Now I'm going to push that one up a bit, and I'm going to do just a little bit more marbling down the bottom there. Because we certainly don't want to cover up that beautiful effects that we're getting through there. Now we'll glue this down, and then that'll be a pocket if we decide to put a little bit of ephemera in there that we can journal on the back of. Another little tag. But there you go, guys. Hinged. You can of course put an eyelet up the top and some sari silk through, but I actually like the concept of it still being open. You could still punch a hole and then put a hole reinforcer around, but I've got my tag there as a decoration to sort of cover that up. But beautiful hinged tags, lots of uses, beautiful journaling space inside. You could do a little bit of stenciling in there. I'm not going to today. I want to leave it fairly plain, but you can just grunge it a little bit like that if you wanted to. See, if you wanted to get rid of that stark cream cardstock. A little pocket on the back, extra journaling space on here. But have a go at these. They're really, really fun. Like I said, that's the first one I've made. I'll be making more of them because I like the concept of whether you do it in a tag shape or journaling cards. Just don't know whether I've got a journaling card beside me here. Yes, I do. So imagine your journaling cards, which are this shape, and you can make them wider, you can make them longer, any shape you like, and I've rounded the corners. But doing it in the same concept as that, you could turn it into little mini journals and have, you know, your binding like that. You could do your signatures in this way and then adhere them down and have that flexibility on there and the strength of that material on there. But listen guys, have a go. Very, very fun, quick little project for you. And I hope you've enjoyed and got some inspiration out of it. Thanks guys, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.